Okay, so where I began with was some trauma that I had with my mom. Um, Pretty much just like I don't know, I felt like, I guess abandoned, um, not loved, um, disconnected. Um, I guess those are kind of like the emotional words I can come up with. Pretty much what would happen is I would go and try and talk to her, and she would just, every time would say, "Go the fuck away," go outside and play. Um, it really wasn't like any connection there. And then when there was a connection, it was just her wanting to take her anger out. We never really knew why we were getting beat. We just were getting beat. That's another situation for another day, though. But it was just mostly always being ignored. Couldn't go to her. Couldn't trust her. Um, and then so going through this, I just kind of like, when he rewrote the story for me as it being a fly, it got me. After that day, it really got me thinking: how many times might there have been a fly? Um, was it really directed towards me? And then, I reached out to my mom and asked her um, the situation, and she kind of put me through a little bit of a guilt trip about it, saying, well, this is what I went through in my childhood. You didn't have to go through this. Um, that you're in your 30s and you haven't got over it yet. Blah 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 blah. And then that day, I had a really bad headache from the whole situation. In fact, I think right after he helped me rewrite the story in my head, I passed out for 2 hours in my car. I didn't even make it inside to go to bed. I said, I'm just going to park the car, take a little 20-minute nap. And the next thing you know, 2 hours had passed. And I thought that was crazy. Then I had a headache for the rest of the day. Did my routine for headaches. When I went to sleep, woke up the next day. And I just felt different. Like it felt completely different. And I think it was that day or maybe the next day, I was out walking my dog and I caught myself actually saying hi to people instead of trying to focus my attention on the dog, not arguing or anything. I caught myself saying hi, how you guys doing? I had a really like a long 10-minute conversation about this guy that just had his front yard redone, and we just sat there and talked about how much it cost. He was trading labor for it. Like it was really cool. I just met someone in the neighborhood, not necessarily the neighbor, but in the neighborhood. Um, that was something I never would have stepped out of my comfort zone to do, and I thought that was pretty neat how that experience like went that way. Uh, then I think maybe on Wednesday, I just had a realization that I had to grow through what I went through to be where I am today. So, along those spiritual lines that you're talking about earlier, Jed, um, if I wouldn't have gone through what my mom put me through, I probably would have never went to Marine Corps boot camp. I probably never would have joined the sports that I joined. I never would have, uh, it was just like a big eye opener. Like, man, I never would have done anything I would have done if that wouldn't have happened to me. So it's kind of crazy to think what might have happened on the other side if that didn't happen. Um, but I'm happy with where I'm at now. I wouldn't want it any other way. So my mind just kind of accepted that there was flies, that my mom always was chewing off the flies, and that's been very helpful with that certain scenario. Um, and I even tried to talk to my brothers about it, and they all have, we all have our own stories. And then maybe Thursday or Friday, I reached out to my mom again, and she just was asking me, is that all you ever think about? Is that all you ever think about is the negative stuff? Like, do you have any positive memories of me? And truth is, I really don't. I mean, can't remember. Like maybe the last positive memory I haven't heard is sitting down and braiding our hair as a kid. But after that, it just kind of my mind only remembers the negative things because I think that's all there really was. And I was talking to my brothers about it, and they have the same experience. They can't really think of anything positive. So um, there might be more work that needs to get done, but for now, I've kind of accepted. Uh, I accepted it. Um, Mentally, I've accepted it. Um, and what was else? What is we going over here?
What were your overall thoughts of working with me in my process, and then anything else that you'd like to add?
So coming into this, I had no idea what we were going to be doing. I really didn't know. I was maybe I thought maybe it was gonna be like a counseling session, or we had talked about the spider scenario. I thought that's kind of what it was gonna be like. And then when we went through it, um, uh, when you were when you went through and was mentioned about the fly, my mind thought about it for a little bit, and then that added a lot of clarity. It helped me out a big time.
Mm,
So there's definitely some more work that needs to be done with maybe through that the experiences I've had with my mom, maybe those have created some limiting beliefs that maybe I want to work on too. Um, but for the most part, like I enjoyed working with you, Jed. That was awesome. It was a completely different way. I've tried other ways. I've tried journaling about it. I tried this one like little book, and it said, what's the emotions you're feeling, or what's the story you're at, what's the emotions you're feeling with it. On a scale from 1 to 10, where you at? And then on the other side, I think it was like, what's the opposite of that? And it kind of helped you think about what maybe the opposite would be. But I've never really gone through that experience where it was like a whole rewrite.
mhm.
Um, what else?
Anything else that you'd like to add? Just any thoughts about anything?
No, no other thoughts other than I'd like to continue working with you. That'd be cool.
Awesome. Sounds good. Appreciate you.
No problem.